Hello, everyone. Welcome in to another podcast from East Alabama Works, our East Alabama Works video podcast series. I'm Carl Brady, the Workforce Program Manager for East Alabama Works. And we've been doing this series over the course of several weeks now to talk to you and give you some information about things going on around the community as they relate to the workforce and education, training, all of those kind of things. And one of the things that we do here at East Alabama Works is we try to make sure that our employers are connected to our education system so that our education system is providing the right kind of employees that our employers need. And one of the most important parts of that is our high school career tech programs. And we have several career tech programs in Region 2 that are top notch. And one of the best is in Etowah County. And I have Mark Stancil now with me. He's the director of the Etowah County Career Technical Center. And Mark, we appreciate all the work you guys are doing, and we appreciate you being with us on the podcast today.
It's great to be here. I appreciate you doing this, and I look forward to talking with you about career tech and how we're trying to do things now.
But you guys have had, I'm sure, a very busy summer. No opportunity for time off as you try to figure out what school was going to look like this fall in the midst of the pandemic, with the restrictions for COVID-19 and distancing, social distancing, and all that kind of stuff. And it's one thing to think about that in a traditional high school setting of a classroom with desks and chairs and doing work in a traditional classroom setting. But you've got the added responsibility. You got a career tech program going on. You're doing hands-on training for careers, and we'll talk about all the different programs you have here in a minute. But talk about that process you guys have been going through for the last few months, trying to figure out what career tech training is going to look like this year.
Well, one of the things, and again, a lot of central office, a lot of staff meetings, a lot of planning, a lot of organizing, and a lot of changing, because about the time you would get some things resolved or settled or figured out, new directives would come in from the state, new guidelines, and it would change everything. So that was in one of I talked to a group the other day, and that was probably one of my main points. I said it was plan and revise, plan and change, plan and change again. So it's just been a lot of tweaking and changing as the situations change. Just like yesterday, the governor came out and the mask order's been extended to like October 2nd or so. So that plays into the things we do and how we plan our day and how we're going to take care of our students. But it's been one of the most interesting times and one of the most challenging times of my career in education. It's just taking every time I sit down with a group or some of our faculty and staff, and we talk about things and try to answer questions. All that happens most of the time is more questions come up. We had a conversation one day. We started talking about the protective equipment, personal protective equipment, PPEs that our students wear. And we got thinking, well, gosh, our AM students and our PM students, we just have safety glasses that they just all use. Well, everybody's got to have their own safety glasses, so we're issuing safety glasses in welding. They've got to have their own hoods. They got to have their own shields for grinding. So it's just, there is no part of our school day that we just could not look at and think about and make sure we had a plan for, from how the students enter the building and exiting the building, changing classes, unloading the buses. We're unloading at several different places and loading at different places and different times to stagger things. And so there's no part of anything we do. How the students go to the restroom, we just can't all go. It's just got to be only a couple in there at a time. So every little aspect of what we do during the school day has got to be looked at and planned for and accounted for. So and it's not only here. It's at every school that there is, elementary, middle, and high school. But ours is a little different because we are project based and we continue. We're making every effort to continue to be project based, a learning facility, and that makes it a little more challenging because here we are. We've got the Department of Public Health wants us to put seating charts where if there's a problem with a student, we can say who sat in close proximity to that student and deal with that and quarantine that student if needed or necessary. Well, our students are up moving around. It's kind of hard to have a seating chart when they're, when you've got folks move, when we've got moving parts, and the moving parts are our students. So that makes it a challenge. And of course, wearing the mask. The students have done great. It's been much better, much more positive than I could have ever imagined. And they have done well. And I just hope they continue to, because I don't enjoy wearing a mask, and I know if I don't, they don't, but if I don't, they won't. So there are some challenges and doing things a little differently, but hopefully we can work through this and come out on the other side better and even learn a few things. I've learned, I've been involved in more virtual meetings the past several months, and I have found a whole new way to communicate with all of my career tech teachers that are on campus and off campus. So, sometimes I need to talk to my high school agri-science teachers, and I bringing them in for a meeting is just impossible. But now we can link up. So there are some positives that are going to come out of this. And I think when all said and done, the educators are going to learn more than the student ever dreamed of learning through all this. We're going to learn new ways to do things and hopefully do things better.
Let's back up to March, when school had to suddenly shut down, basically unexpectedly, and tried to in the traditional settings, tried to transition into a virtual school setting. How did you guys at the Career Tech Center handle that? Because you still had a couple of months, 9 weeks or so, that you had to continue their education, but in welding, and you can't learn welding over the computer, or carpentry. These are hands-on activities that you only learn by actually doing them. How did you make that transition at the end of the last school year?
Well, the technical part was very difficult, and I would like to say we had a plan and figured it out, but it was next to impossible to teach trade and skill sets. So we were able to work, and of course, some students had devices and had connectivity at home where they could work through a computer or through a device, and some did. So we had some students that we were able to do Zoom and Google Meet sessions with several times a week and put lessons together. And most of our lessons were in a lot of our programs. Of course, math skills are very important in construction, in machining, and in a lot of different programs. So we were able to do build on some technical math skills, and of course, and in some simulated workplace, we were able to work on some job skills, interview skills. Those type things is what we focused on, is the things that we could, the things that we need to work on, when we do work on weekly anyway. We just put a lot more emphasis on those. But again, some students were working, we actually had to put together packets if they didn't have any connectivity or any devices at home, and work paper, and had to actually mail those out and work through that. So it was not the best of situations, but we were able to do some things. Hopefully most of the students got something out of it, but it was a difficult time because, again, we are hands-on, and we weren't able to do a lot of hands-on learning. And again, many of our students were not able to take advantage of social media and the devices and some of the meetings that we had. So it presented some challenges. We are much better prepared now. Our system is, and even helping students gain connectivity. Our system is going one-to-one. We're waiting for Chromebooks to come in. About half of our students in our system have Chromebooks, and when the others come in, they actually got held up in customs. And so we're waiting on 4,000 Chromebooks to come in, and every student in our system, hopefully by the middle of September, will have a device that they can will be theirs 24/7. That they'll have. So it is going to change the way we do education, and teachers are linking up on some virtual lessons through school, what we call Schools PLP. It's new to us. We're learning it, and of course, Access has been around. Some students can do online classes through Access through our State Department. So that's been around. So some are doing that, and some are doing the Schools PLP. Only thing is, the Schools PLP doesn't really apply to technical programs. So therefore, our technical programs, we're still, if we were to go remote, our school was to close and we were going remote learning, then we're going to have to go in and still build our lessons. But through Schools PLP now, we can actually build lessons through that will be much better. And again, our students will be connected and we'll be able to see them face to face like we're doing now, a couple of times a week and hopefully get a lot more out of it and have more rigor in those lessons than we had.
Are you front loading your classes with hands-on activities to try to get as much of that hands-on training in just in case there happens to be another disruption or anything? Or are you trying to, or just kind of sticking to business as usual, just trying to give them some sense of normalcy?
One thing we do at the beginning of the year is that before we can go into the labs and really do a lot of hands-on learning is every student must pass a safety test. So our first couple of weeks is a tremendous emphasis on safety and safety exams and getting everyone prepared. So that is what we've been working on. And to add to that fact, we're teaching them how we're going to have school. So the students are having to learn a whole new way of how we do things. Again, walking down the hall, loading, unloading buses, social distancing. So we're learning that. And I told my teachers when we had our in-service meetings, I said, if we are in a normal, some semblance of a normal routine by the Tuesday when we come back from Labor Day, I am going to be tickled. I'm going to be elated. So if we can get our safety, I think it's going to take us that long to get settled in. So what we have done is this week and then next week, all of our students have not been in a math class since March and had math lessons. So we teach math on our campus. I have 3 math teachers on this campus. So we are doing math remediation these first couple of weeks as well. They're taking and doing a part of their day here in math remediation. And then they're in their shops and their programs working on their safety and passing their safety exams. And we're starting to do a few things. I mean, we're in auto tech, we're putting an engine in a truck right now, a truck that we had bought or actually had donated to us that we're putting the engine in. So they're starting to do some things as they're finishing up their safety, but and it won't be until after we get back from Labor Day, the Tuesday after Labor Day, when we'll actually start our regular math schedule and our regular schedule, regular rotation. So, but like I said, if we can be settled in after those first 2 or 3 weeks and be on a normal schedule by then, I'm excited. I think we've done well.
You also have the added, I guess, complication to what you guys do in the fact that you have your Career Tech Center there in Etowah where your career tech programs are focused, but you also have career tech programs in the individual high schools around the county as well. Some of your agriculture classes and things like that. What kind of challenge does that present, having classes in different locations around the county as well?
Well, it's and I've been out to a couple of our schools, and I've got to get out to all of our schools. But being able to meet, like I said, if I need to meet with them on through a Google Meet or a Zoom session, that is actually so that is something I've learned that has been very helpful. I can organize a meeting today and in a day or so meet with them and go over things and actually have some semblance of a face-to-face meeting. So that has been very helpful. And actually in our high school settings, and not all of our programs will be that big of a burden or that big of a challenge if we were to go remote or virtual. My agri-science classes, the family consumer science classes, the business classes, health science, even computer science, which we just started a new program this year, Computer Science Project Lead the Way. Those classes and probably a couple more. There are some virtual classes that we can do. As a matter of fact, some of our virtual students are doing some of those classes. So it's just building those. So there are some virtual, and again, the agri-science, the business, and the family consumer science, health science, and computer science, and even engineering are able to do some virtual if needed. So we're better prepared in those than we are the technical, the welding, the machining, the construction, the electrical. Those the auto tech and collision, those are the ones that'll be a challenge if we go remote or virtual.
Yeah, the auto tech kids can see if mom or dad or grandma or grandpa has got an old car or truck that they can take apart and work on, see if they can get it running while they do their video lessons or something like that. I mentioned earlier that our high school career tech programs are such an important part of our workforce development in this region. And we at East Alabama Works, try to help promote the fact that there's no shame in being a career tech student. Being career tech is no less than being any other kind of student. And we need those students who are out there learning skills and coming right out of high school, being able to go into the workforce and go to work. And they're learning high quality, high wage and high demand skills when they come to you. And I just want to mention some of your programs because you've got a lot of stuff going on out there. The automotive technology, collision repair technology, early childhood education, electrical technology and industrial maintenance, electronics technology and robotics, engineering design technology, health sciences, precision machining, welding, construction. All of these programs that you have out there are preparing Etowah County's young people to get out in the workforce, get a good job, and raise their families when they have a family.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I'm again working on my program application this year. I've ran a lot of data the last couple of weeks, and I'm happy to say that each program, every program that we offer at Career Tech in Etowah County is a high demand and a high wage program. So there is a need for every program that we offer. And there are some great opportunities out there for them beyond high school, or even post-secondary, which we have a lot of students that are on our campus. We do offer some dual enrollment courses on our campus in several of our programs, and we have a lot of students that, of course, their junior and senior year go to Gadsden State and take dual enrollment classes. So there's a tremendous amount, and that is my goal. That is my focus. That is my job as administrator, is provide opportunities for these students. And that is our, and we try to do things just like this year. We started a new computer science program, Project Lead the Way. And actually, we will have probably more students on campus in the existing programs already that will be taking courses in that than we will have new students coming in. But our electronics and robotics students will take courses in Project Lead the Way, because it is going to complement. They'll learn coding, they'll learn programming, and all the things that are very important. Even in auto tech is now, there's so many computers and electronics in an automobile. So those students we'll be pulling students in from 5 or 6 different programs into those computer science classes that will benefit those other programs. They're going to complement greatly, and I'm excited to see what all we can do with that as we build. It's a startup program. We'll only be able to offer one class this year. It has a prerequisite computer science essentials, but next year we'll offer cybersecurity and then computer science principles, and then computer science the third year. So it's going to take us 3 years to get it fully implemented, but I'm as excited about that program as any we have here, and what it can do, not only for that program as a standalone, but for other programs here on campus.
You're going to keep growing. We're going to have to double the size of your facility out there.
that is my biggest challenge now, is square footage. I need more square footage on our campus. And some of our shops are small. I would love for them to be able to have a little more square footage where we could have more students and more opportunities.
And one of the things you guys do really well, you mentioned that the programs you have are in high wage and high demand careers, is you really work well with your advisory board, your community advisory board and industry advisors, and listening to the community and making sure your programs align with what the industry and business needs are in the community. Talk about the importance of that and making sure that alignment is there.
It is critical, because we are here, and that's what when we meet, and of course we meet a couple times a year in official meetings, and then of course I'm in contact with them, emails and just out and about in business industry. My work-based learning teacher is and career coaches are our boots on the ground out with business industry. So they are critical, and that is our goal. That is our focus. We're here to serve them, and we're trying to be a supplier of young workforce, skilled and trained workforce that we're trying to put out there and in place. So having a great relationship with them, and them seeing us as a need, as a resource for them. That is my main goal, main focus with our advisors. I want them to see us as a resource. And of course I receive multiple phone calls and many visits. And I've had employers, I've talked with several this summer that are looking for young folks to hire that have skill sets. And of course, we're able. One of our healthiest career tech programs is work-based learning, which of course there is a student's senior year, and they can their junior year, but mostly seniors go into the workforce and spend part of their day in school taking their core classes, their core academic classes, and the other half of the day they're actually going into the workforce and working. And a lot of the students that come to our campus, their 9th, 10th, 11th grade year, they go into an internship or apprenticeship program in industry their senior year and work through this work-based learning program. Last year, we had 241 students in this program, 241 seniors in Etowah County. Etowah County has about 600 seniors every year. So 241 is about 35% of our seniors are in this program. So it is a tremendous program. Most of them are working, in a year's time, they'll work 600 to 1,200 hours. So they're working 25 hours a week on average in a workplace setting, and gaining some valuable workplace skills, because whereas every student here can earn a credential in a program, business to recognize credential. Well, one of the greatest things that these students can learn is learning how to be successful in a work environment. Being to work on time, staying off your cell phones. Having understanding the importance of having good transportation. And the things. And so they're learning some valuable. It's very valuable, because when I talk to business and industry partners and advisory members, those are the things they talk about. Just please send me someone that will show up on time, that'll stay off their cell phone, that can work well with others. Those are the things that they're looking for, as much as they're looking for those credentials and skill sets in these trades. So that is what we work on. That's why we work so hard with simulated workplace and some other things, teaching and training. It's not just about teaching a trade. It's about teaching them all the things of being a good employee, having the right attitude, the right work ethic, and being there every day. And those are valuable qualities to carry into the workplace with you.
You led me right into the next thing I was going to ask you about, and that is the fact that you guys are a simulated workplace school. The students come in, they have a time card, and they have to punch in and punch out, and you're teaching all of those workplace skills at the same time that you're teaching the hard skills. So tell me about the simulated workplace and how that works for you.
Those are important skills. Because there's so many things that we take for granted that these students know that they really don't know. For instance, they clock in and clock out, and monthly we try to print off a pay sheet, a payroll stub based off that we have them set up on a wage, and we take, and when they get that check, it's going to have taxes cut out, federal and state taxes. It's going to have insurance. It's going to have retirement, the things that are normally going to be taken out. And it will shock you as how many of these juniors and seniors don't realize just how much of their check they're really taking home versus how much, the gross versus net. They learned about gross and net real quick. So those, just those things, just things like that they didn't understand. And we put students in leadership positions in our shops. We take students, mostly seniors a lot of times, but some juniors that take on shop foreman or the safety manager, things you're going to see in the workplace, 2-room managers, so project team leaders and things. So they take on roles and responsibilities. And that's one thing this year that's kind of hurt us that I'm interested to see how it works out, is a lot of our seniors, the state had an option for them to opt out and only take the courses that were required for them to graduate. So many seniors were able to opt out and only take their academic courses. So that hurt our attendance, because many of them did. So we have about half as many seniors here as we normally do in our program this year. And there are leaders, and I mean, there are mentors to our younger students. Mm-hmm. They are a big part of what we do. I mean, they teach these younger students safety. They teach them how to respect this equipment that they're working with, and they're the team leaders on projects. So they teach as much as our instructors do. A lot of times our instructors are moving from group to group, and these project leaders, these older students are teaching as well. So we depend on them. And of course, I've always been told that if you want to really truly know and learn and understand something, teach it. So our seniors are I mean, they help us teach. They help us teach these young students and help them. And of course, it passes on. In a couple of years, they'll be the ones teaching the next groups that are coming in. So that's the way we do business here. And again, it works well in simulated workplace, as far as building that foundation of, just we even have an employee handbook that and we sit down and go through that. That's some of our activities. We try to do a weekly employability skill. And it's kind of interesting when you go through that and you talk about Family Medical Leave Act, and these students have no idea what that is or what their rights are as an employee. I asked them one time, what if you're in the Guards and you get called to active duty and you have to leave that job to go active duty? I said, do you have a job when you get back? And they said, oh, no. I said, oh, yes, you do. So there's a lot of things they don't understand, as far as being just things that we take for granted. So those are the kind of things that we try to talk about and make sure they understand as well, that they have rights as an employee, that the employer has rights, that there's expectations on both sides. And so those are the things we even go over in our employee handbook. And our employee handbook is generic to a lot of different industries, so it's not specific to anybody. But the things that you'll see in our employee handbook, you'll see in most employee handbooks, with guidelines and regulations. So there's just a lot of things we're doing with this with the simulated workplace that is much more than just the technical. It's just trying to teach them how to be a good employee and an educated and informed employee.
Well, that's great. And Mark, our time has absolutely flown by. As we've done this, we could probably talk for another half an hour or more about career tech and career tech opportunities there in Etowah County. But I want to say thank you and how much we appreciate the work that you and your faculty are doing to put out these young kids that are well-rounded in their skill sets and in their employability skills, and providing good, well-trained workers into our workforce for our industries. We appreciate everything you guys do.
We appreciate that, and appreciate all the workforce development region 2 does for us. And you and Lisa and your that staff, y'all are very supportive, and we appreciate what y'all do as well.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. Hope you have a good day. And folks, I want to thank you for joining us for our East Alabama Works video podcast. Again, I'm Carl Brady, the Workforce Program Manager, and you can learn more about East Alabama Works and all the work we do by visiting our website, eastalabamaworks.com. Have a good day.